service teacher, I've started to shape my very own education philosophy, inspired by two philosophers in particular, and continuously being added to as I continue to learn through course content and readings. I've also started to become more aware of the certain pedagogy practices I value and wish to follow in my classroom as a future teacher. I will be going into my classroom with an open mind, encouraging creativity, embracing the uniqueness and heterogeneous of each and every one of my students. It is not only my job as a teacher to teach them academically, but I will also stand tall and proud of my class, sharing my enthusiasm about their efforts and works with other colleagues and students within the school. I'm aware of the diversity I will encounter with each of my students, whether this be age, gender, socioeconomics, sexuality, religion, family status, background, or even culture. As I continue my studies and through practical experience, I will be able to learn and adapt new techniques and pedagogies suitable for each one of my students to try to minimize any learning barriers they may come across. One learning barrier commonly found can evolve around family status. It is important to recognise when a child is falling behind and understand why they are instead of just getting angry at them. Reassuring their well-being in the classroom and also in their home. From personal experience, I was fortunate enough to be a part of a traditional family with married parents and two siblings. Although I was surrounded by many friends and peers around me at school, a part of non-traditional families. And the negative impact and difficulties it had on some students, it did interfere with their participation and engagement within the classroom. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, in June 2020, there were 7.2 million families recorded. 1 million of those were one-parent families with a high 79.3% single mothers, 84,000 same-sex families, and 112,000 that were classified as other families. I aim to ensure that each of my students are receiving a beneficial education, and this starts with a positive and trustworthy relationship. I am aware of such learning barriers that may interfere with a child achieving at the best of their abilities. These can be sparked by mental health issues, disabilities, lacking of social skills, financial status, culture, background, and that's just to name a few. I wish to be fully prepared for when a child comes to me with any circumstance. I wish to be there for them and help them at the best of my ability. For an example, if a child from a low income status family cannot afford to get access to required resources, I may be able to provide them with extra homework or learning materials to ensure that they'll be able to still succeed like the rest of their peers. Nell Noddings quoted, "We should want more from our educational efforts than adequate academic achievement. We will not achieve success unless our children believe that they are cared for and learn to care for others." I can relate to Nell Noddings' philosophy, and that is the nature of caring. Everyone not only wants to, but deserves to be cared for, and every student deserves to have support during their learning journey. I will ensure that I am caring for each and every one of my students, as opposed to just caring about, which requires a relationship between the carer and the cared for, which is myself and my student. Positive relationships are important to create that sense of belonging for the students, and to be aware that I am here to support them. I will be actively listening to their voices and provide them with the opportunity of free choice within the classroom to help with engagement. Another philosopher I took interest in was John Dewey, and his belief that individuals have a lot to offer. This can be demonstrated, he thought, by hands-on learning experiences. Providing the opportunity for hands-on experience gives those students who might not be the highest achiever academically to benefit in some way. Dewey also mentioned how important group work was and working with the community. I also strongly agree with this. In my classroom, my aim is that all students feel comfortable enough to contribute into class interactions and that they feel like they belong. To ensure I create a safe environment in my pedagogy, I will use transformative text to create new patterns. Ensuring mythically norms and stereotypes transformed through traditional text do not shape our opinions and thoughts. Rather, we celebrate our differences and uniqueness in the classroom. Finally, I believe a smile is contagious. I'll be consistent with my behaviour expectations, and I'll always advocate positive and encouraging behaviours within my classroom. Thank you for listening, and watch this space as I continue to evolve my philosophy in education. Through developing my philosophy, I actively demonstrate all the Australian professional standards for teachers as required. In particular, I value the most Standard 1, know your students and how they learn, and also Standard 4, create and maintain a safe and supportive environment. I also value the Code of Ethics for teachers. As I am becoming a teacher, I will role model daily for my students integrity, dignity, responsibility, respect, justice, and care.